said is about finding a way to be as desperate as the other team. It just seems like that'd be so much easier said than done. How do you find a way to do that?
It's just who I am. It's just the way I prepare my mind, prepare my body, prepare for the moment, and just having that desperation coming into a closeout game, and not saying it is always. I've been victorious after having that mindset, but that's just who I've become, and how I've challenged and channeled my mindset and the moment, and living in the moment and not taking it for granted, and just channeling that desperation is knowing that the opponent and the man that's across from you has that same feeling. So that's what it is.
Allison?
Start with Dan.
LeBron, the Executive of the Year award just came out. I think Rob finished 5th or 6th or something like that. We know how you guys feel about Defensive Player of the Year. We heard what you said about MVP. Typically, individual accolades come with great team success, and you guys had it. Do you have any idea as to why maybe it hasn't, for whatever reason, happened on this team, those individual accolades?
You have to ask whoever voted.
Go with Tim Reynolds.
LeBron, I think you've gotten this question at like every final, so I apologize. But looking at what you did this year, being, I think, the oldest to be a first-time assist champ and back on this stage with a third different team, and you don't need the list. I mean, the fan vote for MVP, I think you won pretty easily. What has this year done for legacy? Or do you think the legacy is, no matter what you do from today forward, do you think the legacy is already kind of written?
Don't really think about it too much. I think the story will be told how it's supposed to be told, and be written how it's supposed to be written, but I don't live my life thinking about legacy. What I do off the floor is what means more to me than what I do on the floor. How I, seeing my kids on the back of a Wheaties box yesterday was one of the best moments of my life. And seeing my mom unveil the box back in my hometown of Akron, Ohio yesterday was some of the best news and videos and pictures that I've ever seen, that I could ever get. The game of basketball will pass me by, and there's a group of young kids and vets and rookies throughout the course of this game. But so I can't worry about that as far as on the floor. How I move, how I walk, what I preach, what I talk about, how I inspire the next generation is what matters to me the most. And if you appreciate my game, then cool. If you didn't, then that's cool too. But that's what it boils down to.
Dave McMenamin.
LeBron, you guys are going to wear the Black Mamba uniforms tomorrow. I wanted to know if you recall the first time seeing them, either when the Lakers wore them a couple seasons ago or just when you first got your hands on it. And you're a guy who has aesthetic opinions. What do you think about that look?
I thought they were cool from when I seen them, when they wore them a few years ago. And obviously, until you get your hands on them, you don't get to see the detail in them. They're super duper detailed. Has that snake mamba print on it, and it means something. It's something more than just a uniform. It represents an individual who gave a franchise 20 years of his blood, sweat, and tears, and his dedication to his craft, both on and off the floor, to make that franchise be proud of him, and hopefully vice versa. So, like I think last year we had a Shaq jersey. Magic did one as well. I think it's just it's pretty cool when you know you're wearing a uniform that a legend had his hands on.
Kyle Gurn.
Just adding to the closeout game, which you've obviously played closeout games before, but the fact that you're also, potentially one win away from going home and being reunited with a lot of the people that you want to see and care about, does it make it harder to kind of prepare the same way for this game than any of the others?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have a support system at home that's taking care of that allows me to focus on my job. So when I get home, but I got a job to do.
Okay, Sam Amick, please.
Bron, you've talked about AD so much during this run, but I'm curious about the relationship basically 2018. I think it was December of 2018. You mentioned to Dave about how it'd be amazing to play with him. You've talked about 2012 and the Olympics. What was the evolution of the two of you between that time, and when did you decide, like, in terms of possible partners, to do this thing, that this was a guy that you wanted to be with?
Well, on the 2012 team, first of all, you just look at his 1 year at Kentucky and what he was able to produce for that program in 1 year. His ability to outrun guards, ball handling with the smalls, block shots, catch lobs. I remember one game, I think they were playing North Carolina, and he had the game-winning block. I believe it was versus John Henson, if I'm not mistaken, if my basketball mind is correct. And that block was incredible, and they won that game. But then you just looked at his run throughout that whole March Madness. He was just beyond the best player in college basketball. And we get to 2012 when he's a young Anthony Davis, and he soaked up everything. He was not a rookie that came in and thought he knew it all or felt like he was who he was, a national player of the year and national champion and so on and so on. He came in with a sponge mentality right off bat, just soaking up everything from myself to Kobe, D-Wade, Melo, so on and so on and so on. You knew right then how great of a kid, how great of a player he was going to be just from that. And in 18, it was, I guess what's known don't need to be said. You look at a guy who can do everything out on the floor versus anybody, and you have visions of what that could look like if you were to team up. And I was speaking truly, just true from the heart and from a basketball mindset. And Dave paid for it, I paid for it for that moment, but I didn't care because I just know how special he is.
All right, we'll take a few more with Will back on Zoom.
All right, thank you. Tanya?
Bron, I have 2 questions for you. The first is, you've been a Laker now for 2.5 calendar years, and I'm wondering what you've learned in that time about what it means to be part of this franchise. And then the second is, could you share a little bit of how your relationship with Jeannie has evolved over these last